Hello and welcome to the 8th episode in our beginner lessons series. So today we're going to be covering pawn structures and some of the ideas and piece placements around. So in this structure here that I've got shown on screen, we have a couple of key ideas to note. So one is that this pawn over here is what we call an isolated pawn, meaning it doesn't have a pawn next to it to defend it. So this is what we call a weak pawn. These two here are called double pawns. These are pretty weak. They are also isolated pawns because they cannot be defended by another pawn. And so both of them are weak. Now, when you have isolated pawns, the squares in front of them are very good outposts for pieces. So any piece that lands on this square will be very strong simply because it can't be kicked away by a pawn. So from here, black has a couple of weaknesses we have around here. This is a very odd pawn structure, and this is why we say not to move the g-pawn. So because the g-pawn has moved here, this means nothing controls this square, nothing controls this square, nothing controls here, nothing controls here, and nothing really controls here. So all these weak squares are great for pieces to go on for white. Now looking at white's pawn structure, we have a nice solid 3 in a line, so this is very good. None of these are isolated pawns, as they can all be defended by the other pawns in some way. And there are no weaknesses through here. White has the bit of the center, black has the same, but this is nice and solid. White can play pawn up here and have a nice pawn chain through this way. White can also put the pawn here and have it defended, and this pawn's already defended. So every one of white's pawns either is defended or can be defended, whereas black's pawns are not like that. None of these three can be defended by pawns. If this one gets defended by a pawn here, then this pawn will always be weak. And if this pawn defends here, then this pawn will always be weak too. So this is why the pawn structure is very critical. Now it's actually very hard for black to change this pawn structure, because none of these can be traded off easily. This can't be traded off easily, and these are all pretty immobile. So this is why pawn structure is such a critical idea, and every time we make a pawn move, we should be about 99% sure that we want to make this move, because we can't undo pawn moves. And something like this, these type of positions where black's pawns are so weak, you can just lose simply because the pawns are weak. Now, there's something else called pawn island theory, which is that the side with the least pawn islands is slightly better. So here, white has 2 pawn islands. Here's one. These are all connected like an island. And here is the second. These are like an island. Now, the reason this one is connected into here is simply because white can play here, and then they'll all be connected through here. So this is perfectly fine. Now, black has 1 pawn island here, which is always weak. Another pawn island here, and this ridiculous pawn island over this side. Now, this pawn island here, whilst it is a pawn island, these are very separated, these are very separated, and really for black to put these on a pawn island, he has to actually ram this one up the board to here and have this chain through here. That would be a good pawn island for black. So with black having 3 pawn islands and white having only 2, this position is slightly better for white because of the pawn islands, slightly better because of these pawns, and slightly better for this. So in this type of position, if there were kings and obviously some pieces on the board, this position is very strong for white, just because all these advantages add up. So I'll just jump over to the next position, which should be very similar. So we have this position. Now, this position is obviously identical pawn structure, but it just shows you how well placed pieces can be when the pawn structure is bad. So this knight does an excellent job at stopping these pawns moving forward. This knight stops the bishop from moving really anywhere, and actually ties down a lot of black's material. So this bishop, now that it can't move, because you don't really want to put the bishop here because we take it, right? We take it with the knight and give you more double pawns. So this is why these double pawns are bad. especially isolated pawns. Double isolated pawns are very weak. So jump right into the next position. Okay, so in this position, we've added these rooks on the board. Now, there is a small advantage in having a set of double pawns, is that black actually gets the semi-open file to use. So, whilst this is the only open file on the board, this is actually the only semi-open file on the board. This means that black's rook can actually be active quite quickly, even though the other pieces are bad, and even though the pawn structure is bad. So there are some advantages to double pawns that can at least help black play in this type of position. So here the rook has lots of space. The rook could even play here and start attacking, or here and get rid of the knight. And the white rook is tied down to defending the pawn. So this at least gives black some counterplay and maybe a chance to draw this position. Also with these double pawns, if maybe the knight wasn't here, black will get an option to bring some pieces out this way. So this type of move can help in development. The double pawns do help in development in some way. The double pawn does actually help control the center, but this is not one of the stronger double pawns. We'll get to some stronger double pawns a little later. Okay, so I'm now going to cover the type of opening position where you can get double pawns, and it comes up very often in chess. So this position is a well-known position that has been reached for the last 500 years, and we'll get to it here. So this is the starting position. White plays e4, controlling the center. Black e5, knight f3, knight c6. So we've covered all of this in previous episodes. And here white plays bishop b5. Now what does this move do? We've never seen it before, so we should run through the process. What does it do? Attacks the knight. Well, okay, prepares castling. Okay, that's about it. So why does it attack the knight? Well, white is actually threatening to take, and when black takes back with either this pawn or this pawn, white will take here and win a pawn. Okay, good to know. So the main line here actually goes like this. a6. Now, this is a reasonably tough move to understand at the beginning, is why do we want to force our opponent to play this move? But I'll show you. So a6, attacking the bishop. Bishop takes, and now black has a choice in this position. Black can take this way, away from the center, or can take this way toward the center. Now, both of these moves are playable at the higher level, but at the lower level, one of these is very dangerous. So I will show you the safe one, and the safe one is actually to capture away from the center. Now this is something we normally don't teach, is capturing away from the center. You should normally capture toward the center, simply because it will provide more control. But here, capturing away from the center actually provides more control. So this square here, we have no control at the moment for black. If we take this way, we have 1 control on it. And if we take this way, we actually get 2. In advantage to taking this way, we can get the bishop out faster, the queen out faster, and castle faster. Now this actually means black gets to be ahead in development, even though they are behind in development right now. So also later on, if we manage to get the king castled over here, the king will be nice and safe behind these 4 pawns. Whereas if we had this position, the king would not be safe behind these 4, as this would be a semi-open file. So this is why this is a better capture. In addition to this, playing this capture here, while it does control the center and prepare this move, and we do have this option to bring the rook here, this one sort of drops this pawn in a very complicated way. And this is why I don't advise playing this one, is because you have to know a reasonable amount of theory to reach a position that is not that good for black. And the theory does run like this if you really want to know. So here, queen e2. So queen can't take the knight because of the pin. So the line runs queen takes, king takes, bishop to b7. So the knight is pinned down to this pawn here. And so white plays this move, simply defending the knight black takes the knight, pawn takes, and knight here. However, this position can only really be better for white because, again, the pawn islands, one over here, two over here, this pawn is going to lose, so we're not going to care about it. And black, one here, two, and three. So this is why this position is slightly better for white. In addition to this, white is still ahead in development and play bishop here, knight takes, and knight out. White has two pieces developed versus black's one. And this bishop is a little bit better than this bishop because this one's blocked in. So this is why I don't advise playing this line. I just simply say we should take this way, away from the center. And this sets a nice trap for white. So if white takes this pawn, then we can actually play queen here. Attacking the pawn, attacking the knight. White will play knight back. We take the pawn, check. So king over is just bad because white will have very little development. Black will get the bishop here and will still be able to castle, whereas white won't. So white should play queen here. We just simply trade them. And now we just develop naturally. I mean, maybe here or here. Maybe this move. And quite simply, black has the bishop here, is going to castle quickly and get the rook active. And white has a misplaced king and very bad development. So this is why this position is not very good for white. So this is the Royal of Pairs. If you want to have a look at it, you can go and look at it in your own time. It's a very strong opening and there's a lot of theory on it, so I'd recommend it if you want to try advancing your chess, and we'll get into the next position. Okay, so the next position is where double pawns can be very helpful. And this is similar to the line in the Royal of Pairs where I said you should take this way. So this line comes from a Petrov defense. So e4 controlling the center, e5 controlling the center back, knight f3 attacking the center, and now knight f6. This is a move I haven't shown you before, but it's a perfectly playable move, and it's probably one of the more common lines at the Grandmaster level. And the reason is white does attack the pawn, but black attacks this pawn. So black is just simply playing for an equal position and going to try and win from there. So white should take this. Now, I'll quickly mention that there's a little trap in this if black doesn't know what they're doing, and you need to be aware of this, is that black could take here, where white can play queen up, attacking the knight. Now, if black plays queen here, he's just going to lose a knight and can't take this knight. So, black obviously thinking he's cleverer than playing queen here, will move this knight to either here or here, somewhere else, maybe here. And this is where white delivers the crushing move, knight c6, check. So knight c6, attacks the queen, and controls this square. So no matter how black blocks this square, this check, then white will win the queen. So this is a trap to be aware of. So there is this move though first, is to kick the knight away. The knight goes away, and now we can take the pawn, because if queen here, we can play queen here defending. So this is perfectly fine for black. But the main line now is actually, after they take the pawn, is to play this move. Attacking the knight. So knight takes. And this is where the pawn capture is strongest. Away from the center, but it does control the center. So we'll keep going with the theory on this line. So the main idea also is to get very fast development for white. So bishop e7 for black to try and castle. Bishop e3, continuing development. Knight c6, queen d2, developing. Castles and castles. So white is basically two moves away from completing development, whereas black still has to move this, 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 and this to actually be completely developed. So white is actually going to have two free moves after white's completed development to basically do whatever they want. They have a very safe and secure king, and they can now start throwing these pawns up the board to try and attack the black king. So this is why taking away from the center is strong, is it gives a large amount of opportunities on where to put your pieces and how to attack. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you've learnt a lot, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Goodbye.